Welcome back into CBS Sports HQ. So the draft is still a ways away, but the college football season, guys, it's hard to believe we are nearing the completion of the regular season. Taking a look at Mike Renner's top 10 prospects right there. His big board, his top 100, just hit today on CBSSports.com. Go check it out. Reuben Bain Jr., edge rusher, sitting at the top, followed by Peter Woods. And then you find our first quarterback, Indiana's Fernando Mendoza, of course, a transfer from Cal, who has taken the world by storm. Let's welcome in Mike Renner. We are still joined by Danny Kanell here. We're going to go through the top quarterback prospects. But before we get into it, Danny, the three of us were talking. Last year during the draft, we were telling teams that needed a quarterback or thinking, just wait till the next year. We're going to have a great quarterback class next year. It hasn't really worked out like that, though.
No, it's been wild. Much like there have been some really big surprising letdowns from team standpoints, there's also been some individuals which really have been let down. Drew Aller comes to mind, the quarterback at Penn State, who was supposed to take a big step forward. Well, not only did he not take a step forward, then he gets hurt, and his season's derailed, and Penn State's season derailed. Cade Klubnik at Clemson, supposed to be a great year for him returning. Could he take that next step and take Clemson to a national championship? It kind of falls off the rails for him. And then there have been several quarterbacks that I was very skeptical of, guys that had only played probably 4 or 5 games of good football, but it was okay. We've seen some flashes. Can they do it for an entire season? Guys like LaNorris Sellers and DJ Lagway, and ultimately they fell short of some of those lofty expectations. So it's not too shocking, though. It is very hard to predict who's going to be great, who's going to fall on their face. It's just impossible to predict who's going to be good or not.
Yeah.
I will say, though, with all that being said, I think it's still a better class. Like, last year was just such a bad class. There were only 2 first-rounders. I think we would see more this year if all the guys declare, but I think that's the biggest thing. And the most unique thing with this college football landscape is even some of these guys we're going to talk about, they have eligibility. And if they're not assured to be a top 3 pick, they might come back to school. So we might be talking about a few guys who could be first rounders, but when it's all said and done, we might have a lot of these guys still come back to school, and it may only be one guy at the end of the day.
Okay, so let's dive into your top quarterbacks, and we're going to start with Fernando Mendoza at Indiana. Obviously, they've had a phenomenal season, and I'll tell you what, the guys on the Cover 3 podcast, before the season began, they sold me on him. Mike, was this just an easy number 1 for you?
It was. I've had him at number 1 overall pick since my preseason mock draft, just because I thought he had the best combination of tools and early NFL translatability. But even I didn't quite see him being this good this year with Indiana. Some of it's been the fact that he has 2 very good wide receivers, could very well have 2 top 100 picks at wide receiver in Elijah Surratt and Omar Cooper. And that's why I would tell him probably go out this year and don't come back to school if you're thinking about it, because you're not going to have those 2 guys next year. But he has just been so accurate with the football, such a good decision maker, and just his ability to make the right play at the right time consistently. It's what you want to see from the guy you're thinking about drafting number 1 overall, because he's not going to separate himself with his tools. He's not this athlete that can create on his own. He's going to have to win from the pocket, but every time he's needed to, he's made that play.
But I do think he's adequate as a runner. Like, you're not going to confuse him for Lamar Jackson, but he's got the mobility that's kind of required to play the game. And that's where I thought Indiana was going to get an upgrade, because Curtis Rourke, their quarterback last year, was pretty much strictly a pocket passer. Some of that was due to an injury that he had during the season. But Fernando Mendoza was running around for his life last year at Cal and still was able to complete 68% of his passes, still had a pretty positive touchdown-to-interception ratio, and still showed you flashes of that arm talent that you're seeing now. Probably one of the things that impresses me most is how comfortable he's looked in a short period of time operating in Indiana's system. Like, he has stepped in and you have not missed a beat. There wasn't a slow start. He has been sharp from the get-go. He's accurate. I think it's a very effortless, smooth throwing motion where it doesn't look like it's a lot of wasted motion. I think he's a clear-cut head of this class.
Could he be a New York Jet?
No,
he saved the team.
I want him. Have you heard my campaign for the Dolphins?
No, I have not.
Flop for Fernando. You don't tank for Tua. You flop for Fernando so you can get the kid from Miami to be your next quarterback.
All right, I like that. I think it'll catch on, given the way the Dolphin season is gone. Let's look at the next couple of quarterbacks. Mike, you have Ty Simpson from Alabama ahead of Dante Moore, the quarterback at Oregon. How close are these, and why does Ty get the jump?
They're very close. They're back-to-back on my board, actually. I kind of punted by putting them there. But to me, Simpson's just the more polished of the two, which makes sense. He's been in college longer. He's 22 years old, about to turn 23 in December. So he is the elder of the two. But I can't believe this is only his first year as a starter, because he looks like a guy who, what I thought we'd see maybe Cade Klubnik look like this year, who just every single year should be getting that progression to look like a polished NFL quarterback. That's what Simpson looks like, and he only has 8 games of starting under his belt. The guy just, between his footwork, between his decision-making, it's all there. You see the 22-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. I am just floored with how well this guy has taken care of the football, given that he's really faced a gauntlet of a schedule and is going to down the stretch. So he'll get every chance to prove himself that he could be the number 1 overall guy in this class. It's going to be tough given 1 year of starting under his belt, but he really has passed every single test to date outside of that week 1 first game of the season against FSU.
Yeah, I had my doubts about Ty Simpson. I was wondering, how come you couldn't beat out Jalen Milroe? How come you haven't started early in your career? But what a testament to being patient and just waiting your opportunity. And then when it comes, of absolutely smashing it out of the park. The thing that's impressed me most, and you kind of hit on some of it as well, was the competition that he's playing against, but also his offensive line has not been great. He's thrown in a lot of tight pockets where there's not a lot of room to operate, and yet he still stands firm in the pocket, stares the defense in the face, and just rips it downfield. And the vertical pass game, up the vertical seams, those inside seam routes, even outside seam routes, he has been really, really sharp with those. Very accurate and throwing in high leverage situations, because Alabama, as you mentioned, their schedule's been tough. They've been in some tight ball games where he's needed to step up, and he has been absolutely phenomenal. I totally agree. I think he's played himself into this conversation. And with Dante Moore on the other side, I think Dante Moore, now we'll find out because their schedule is about to get that much tougher. They have 3 ranked opponents to finish out the season. I almost personally feel like he could benefit from another year at Oregon, kind of developing from what we've seen. It's a little bit raw. He is special talent-wise, but I just wonder, and he might blow us all away in this end of this regular season and just slam the door on any of it. But it's been a little bit up and down. I'd like to see a little bit more consistency, because I do think he could use another year at Oregon.
Okay, and maybe that's what you guys think about this next guy, LaNorris Sellers. Mike, I went back and I found a mock draft of yours from August 27th. You had LaNorris Sellers going 3rd overall to the Jets at the time. Right now, he is not in your top 100 anymore. What has happened to him? And is the suggestion maybe for him to go back for another year?
He just hasn't shown much in the way of development. I think he could still go number 3 overall, but just not this year. Maybe 2027 when the Jets have 3 first-rounders that they're picking them then. But the biggest issue with me is the sacks. He has taken sacks on 11.3% of his dropbacks, not pressured dropbacks, just total dropbacks. For comparison, Shedeur Sanders, his worst season was 9.3%. So far and away worse than the guy who everyone worried about, could he do it at the next level? So that's my problem with Sellers. That has to change before he can come out to the NFL.
Yeah, he's an uber-talented young man, raw skill set, but I also think he was hurt by a new offensive coordinator this year. He lost his offensive coordinator last year. They've already fired a couple coaches up front and the offensive coordinator at South Carolina. So I get some of it. It hasn't worked out statistically, and he has taken a lot of stacks, but some of this is not all on LaNorris Sellers' shoulders. But I do agree. I think he should go somewhere and try to get 1 more year of development in college.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens with these quarterbacks, especially toward the end of the season. Mike, we appreciate it. Once again, you can find his entire article, the top 100, on CBSSports.com. Also, make sure to tune in with the first pick. They talk, yes, the NFL, but come draft season, it is all about the draft.